Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's episode 81 and today I will currently be in America at the time this video releases. As you guys know, I'm heading off to Minecon, which is going to be very exciting indeed, and I've spoken about this in previous episodes of Hermitcraft. I am thrilled to be going. I mean, obviously these tickets are very hard to come by. Just want to say a massive thank you to Tango Tech for actually getting me some, because sadly I missed out on that. But also, I'm going to America. Obviously, I live in England, so we're flying all the way out to LA. I'm going out with my girlfriend, and it is going to be fantastic. At least I hope it's going to be fantastic. At this point in time, when this video is released, I will know if it's fantastic or not, so I guess I'll let you guys know on Twitter or down in the comment section. But anyway, aside from all of that, in today's Hermitcraft episode, we have got a bunch of really cool plans. As you guys know, we've sort of got two ongoing projects right now. We've got the gigantic face, the Mumbo AI that we're working on, and also we've got the Terraforming project to make the industrial district look a tiny bit better, because as you guys can see, yeah, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I mean, we've got some pretty hard edges going through here. We've got some messy terrain going on around there, plenty of creeper holes as well, and most importantly, this giant wall of dirt over here, which is looking really quite awful. So, in today's episode, we're actually going to be working on both of them. We're going to be doing a little bit of redstone on this guy, and also a tiny bit more terraforming to make this place look prettier. I hope that sounds cool, and I'm sure it'll be great fun. Now, as you guys know, when I actually designed this thing in my redstone testing world, I asked you for better names for the system, and Sebastian Gillens, I hope I've said your name correctly, has suggested the Sir Mumbo Quest-A-Lot bot. Now, for me, that is perfect. That is absolutely ideal. So this thing is now called the Sir Mumbo Quest-A-Lot bot. That is what we're going to be calling this thing. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually going to request certain items for us to gather, which we then have to give to the system to stop it from dying. That's basically the idea behind this thing. And it's quite complicated. It involves a ton of redstone. So far, we have built the smart piston feed tape system. We have built the red coder behind the happiness meter. We have got the heart of the system, which is the two droppers. We've got the redstone clock, which sends the items from the bottom dropper to the top dropper. We've got the hopper timer, which sends the items down from the top dropper to the bottom dropper, which is all good. We've got the red coder and the RS null latch array. And in today's episode, we're going to hook up the happiness meter to all of that stuff and basically make the system functional without all of the randomizer. Just as a heads up, I'm using a slightly different color of hardened clay today. We're using white hardened clay, just so that you can see what I've done in today's episode. So already we've got the orange, we've got the yellow. Any white stained clay that you see in the system is going to be built in today's episode. Then maybe in the next episode, I'll vary things up again. That's the way that I'm going to be color coding things here. It's going to look a little bit mismatched, but I think it should end up looking pretty cool. Just the final few blocks to do now, and we will have hooked up all of the blocks for the red coder circuits in our happiness meter. So I think the redstone runs down from this redstone torch right here, and it runs into that block. I think we need a repeater, and that should actually select that one, which means that our face is going to turn around, and it should end up displaying a dead face. Unfortunately, he is currently dead. We've got all of the items in the bottom dropper. None of them have gone up into the happiness meter, which means that if this thing is working properly, it should be showing a dead face. I'm actually a little bit nervous for this one, because if this doesn't work, then that means that the system isn't functional, and we'll be having some issues right here. So let's see. There is the dead face. It's coming around. And it's gone past it. Right. That's that's not a good sign at all. What could have happened here? I think the system stopped working. Oh boy. So, by the look of things, it's gone full circle, and we now have the straight face again. I don't know what's happened. I have no clue what's happened. I'm assuming I've got the cauldrons in the wrong places. That would be a pretty good explanation, but to be honest with you, I've got no clue. Oh, I got no clue. I've got a bit of a confession to make, guys. Somehow, I have managed to build this thing completely the wrong way round, which is pretty bizarre. So on this side, we had the happy face, and then in my testing world, this side was the unhappy face, and I feel like I've got the cauldrons the wrong way round as well, which I don't know how that's happened, because I've been copying everything block for block from my redstone testing world, but apparently it has, which is definitely one for the spoon counter. So this cauldron here should be giving off a power level of 3, so we chuck in the bucket there, and that should change what the red coder says. And this cauldron over here should give off a power level of 1, so we need 1, and then 2, and that should be absolutely fine. So that should have a power level of 1, this one has got a power level of 2, this one's got a power level of 3, and then this one has got the full power level. And if we place in the redstone torch over here, we should see that the system will kick into action, and it will put the correct dead face on the screen. That's what we're hoping for here. We want this guy to be dead because he's meant to be dead right now. I've just taken a look through, and with all the redstone that we've done in today's episode, we've actually finished the circuitry for the actual guy itself. So all of the facial expression circuitry is all done, the happiness meter is completed, everything is done in that department. So now what we're going to do is the item retrieval system, which is going to be going on down underneath. Now I'm fairly certain that all of you will recognise this little circuit down at the bottom here, because this of course is the sorting system. This is what's going to be detecting what items you throw into the system, and if you throw the correct item into the system, then that means you get an output which will run up into the RS Snorlatch, which will increase the happiness, which means that we'll get a happy face displayed on the screen. That's basically the idea behind that one, in case you're a little bit confused. So now what I'm in the process of doing is running the output line from this redstone circuit right here, which we actually need to take a repeater output from all of these redstone lines, and that will go up through a torch tower and into that RS Snorlatch up at the top. It's going to be a little bit spaghetti noodly all over the place, but it should end up looking pretty good. Sadly, I have actually just discovered a flaw in the design that we built in the redstone testing world. So you see our little randomizer circuit that we have right here, which runs out into all of our hoppers. So when this redstone torch is off, that means that this is the only item that the system will accept. That's basically the quest bot idea. And there is a slight problem. That is the fact that any of these right here, these top hoppers are actually unlocked, which means that if we were to throw an emerald block into the system, it will make its way into the top hopper, but not drop down. Which means that we get this sort of thing happening, which is actually really, really bad. That means it would actually break the entire circuit. So I've got to come up with a way to fix this, and I don't actually know how I'm going to do it at this point in time. I honestly can't believe I didn't think of this. This is so much simpler than the original one. Originally, I was locking the bottom hoppers as opposed to the top hoppers, which seems a little bit strange, but if you place in an emerald, yeah, it hasn't dropped down into the system. It should be at the end here. That is perfect. That's the design we're going to be using. What was I thinking? I wasn't originally planning on doing this, but I think I'm going to make a start on the RS Snorlatch array and also the decoder circuit, which run into the edges of our hoppers. Just because we're making really, really good progress at the minute, and it would be a great thing to get done, which means that we can start on the randomizer and also the display up at the top there in the next episode of Hermitcraft. Seems like a good place to end. This guy is looking amazing from down at the bottom here. Look, we've got all of this redstone circuitry, we've got loads of things winding around one another. I'm really glad that we decided to use different colours of hardened clay. I just think it adds like a nice perspective to the build. Even if the colours don't really mean anything, it's not like we colour coded all of the circuits. It looks cool. It looks cool and it looks slightly organised, but we've got a tiny bit left to do, just one redstone line left to put in, and that will be all of the redstone done for today's episode. So we need to run the redstone from our item filter over into the RS Snorlatches. So what this redstone line does, I'm going to try my best to explain this, is it will trigger the RS Snorlatches, it will send all of the items down, and then it will trigger the randomizer, which will then fire one of the RS Snorlatches, giving us one output through the system, which will unlock one of the hoppers and also send an item up into the display. That's how that one's working. My next project for today's episode is to do a tiny bit of decorating, because well, this place is looking really ugly. It's seriously looking ugly. We've got redstone all over the place, which I'm actually quite happy with, and I'm considering leaving out in the open, but definitely the front part is looking a little bit rough around the edges. So as you can see, I've added in some extra blocks. We've got some red stained clay down at the bottom. Obviously, we're still fitting in with the themes of the industrial district, and we can't do too much over here because that's where the display is going to be going, but I just want to make sure that it all looks okay, you know? I got a bunch of glowstone in a recent episode of Hermitcraft, and I have totally lost it. I can't find it anywhere. It doesn't seem to be in any of my chests. It's not up in the drone. It's not in the RV. Oh, this is why I can't have good things in Minecraft. Now, I don't really know how this has happened, but I've ended up building the display and basically planning out everything to do with the look of this build. But this is what it's ended up looking like, and I'm about to see it for the first time. That looks pretty cool. That does look pretty cool. I feel like it will look a lot better when we don't have the emerald beacon in front of it, but it definitely fits in with the industrial district, and it looks great. Oh, I'm so happy with that. I feel like we could do something with these stone slabs over here, maybe mix them in with the environment just a tiny bit more, because it sort of looks like a little bit one-sided, but that looks really, really cool, and I love this display on the side. This is the display that is going to be telling us what item the machine wants, so that's going to light up. One of those redstone lamps will turn on, it will have item frames in front of it filled with items, and that's the item that we need to chuck into the system. Awesome! Okay, so I guess we'll continue on with the redstone in the next episode. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop up to the top of the drone and do a little bit of AFK, because we need some bone meal as we're going to be doing some terraforming, and the mob spawner seems to be working like a charm at the minute, so hopefully we should be able to get plenty. As always with me, landing on the AFK platform is a bit of a shaky job, but that was about as good as it gets, wasn't it? Right, this is going to be my home for the next couple hours, and I've just noticed something. My iron golem farm is broken again. Oh, what a stupid design I have chosen. Is one block too small, which means that the iron golems can actually spawn on the outside, which is just ridiculous. So I'll have to fix that at some point, but for now we have got plenty of bones to get. I have returned back to the server, so let's pop down to the bottom and take a look at what we've got. Now this time, I'm going to try my best not to die, because that didn't go so well last time. So let's take a look in this chest right here. That was the wrong chest. This chest is the which ones? What's happened? Okay, alright, okay, so we managed to get around about 18 stacks of bones. I mean, that's pretty good going. I feel like there's definitely some efficiency issues with this thing. In fact, I can already tell why. There are some platforms that are getting water, some that aren't. It seems to have basically got out of sync with the loading and unloading of chunks. Oh, that's so frustrating. We're going to have to fix that at some point in the near future, because of course that means that my design is a tiny bit less efficient than it normally is. Let's take a look here. Right, okay, so same story. So during that overnight session we managed to get 36, if my maths is correct, 36 stacks of bones, which is plenty of bone meal. I mean, that's a pretty good quantity of bone meal, so that should do us for all of the terraforming that we're going to be doing in today's episode. Now, as you guys know, I've recently done some terraforming with a skull. This place right here is looking absolutely fantastic, and I thought in today's episode we could basically continue that on and do this area and also this area around here, and just make it look a tiny bit prettier, because right now it's a little bit rough around the edges, isn't it? And already I'm struggling so much. I have completely forgotten everything that Isgal has told me. Just things like this. I mean, I've taken out a good area here. Oh, it's looking awful. My shovel is pretty much on its last legs, but I have made a decent quantity of progress here, and I've basically knocked back a large quantity of this hill. Now, I'm trying my best to be a little bit more aggressive with my terraforming, because it used to be that I'd sort of take out the first layer of blocks and then just cover them over, and it would look a little bit rough around the edges. Now I'm actually doing some serious land moving, and I think at the minute, obviously there's no dirt on it, okay? It goes without saying that I'm not going to be leaving it like this, but I think the shape is okay. I mean, there's a few parts, there's a few problem areas like that definitely need work, but it's alright. That's a good start. We've got a good foundation right there to improve upon, and when we start chucking dirt on this thing, I can imagine that will look like a decent part of the hillside, especially if we pop up to this sort of level right here. You can see, yeah, it's not that bad. I'm actually doing okay. I really should get myself an anvil. I've been using the one that's just sat outside my base for probably the past couple months, and oh no! My shovel! Oh, my shovel's gonna cost a fortune! Okay, I think I have removed all of the stone. All of the dirt is now in place. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. Obviously, when this turns into grass, it will look 10 times better. But already, I'm very happy with what we've managed to do right here. Now, there is one thing that we do have to do, though, and that is to break up all of these hard lines that we have going on down at the bottom, because, well, as Isgal has told me, these aren't what you want, okay? You don't want things like this going on, because they don't look natural. I mean, this looks like a big old square. It looks like we have actually cut the industrial district out of this hillside, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to take some inspiration from what we have going on over here with the cobblestone and the stone and all of that stuff going on. This side is considerably better than that side. That was my side. This one's Iskal's side. So I think we need, yeah, just a bit of slab action, a bit of coarse dirt action going on, and some of that stuff. Alright, I think I can manage. So I'm trying my best here to create some form of rock formation type thing up at the top. And it's going okay. It's going okay. I'm never good at creating things that look like this. It's always difficult for me. But across the bottom, we've got some rocks. We've got a rock down at the bottom there. I quite like that one. That one's also quite a good one. That one's a little bit rubbish, so I might have to fix that one up. And not 100% certain on that one either. Maybe my issue is confidence. I feel like I've got no confidence in my building whatsoever. Just a bit of a confession to make. I don't know how long coarse dirt has been in the game, but I had no idea that you could craft the stuff. Just absolutely none. I didn't even know this stuff was useful. For me personally, my old technique for bone mealing areas was literally just to spam the bone meal everywhere. But I have been informed that that isn't particularly brilliant. I should A, clear out all of the flowers, because this guy's got a point, you know. When you look at this area over here, it looks like something out of The Hobbit, and that's what I'm going for. Like, look at this thing, and it's because it doesn't have the flowers, and because we've got some long grass as well, and the bone meal, it's not too dense. Like, we don't have too much grass going on. So I believe him. I totally believe him, and I'm going to completely follow everything that he says. I'm trying my best to do some bone mealing here, and then I'm bone mealing, clearing out some of the grass, growing up some of the long grass, and in theory, we should end up with something actually looks really, really cool. So here comes the moment of truth. I've been working on this thing for quite some time, and I've been like really picky about everything. Every block that I place, I think about it. I try and work out if it looks good or not, and then I sort of deliberate and occasionally remove it. And the bone mealing as well, all of the leaf placing, all of the cobblestone placing, I've been trying my best to just be really, really perfectionisty on this thing, and hopefully it's paid off. Yes, I like this a lot. Now, I know it's not perfect, okay? It's not 100% perfect. This is definitely a work in progress. But that looks good to me. Now, I have sort of missed a line here. I definitely feel like we need some more bone meal in that section, maybe on top of that hill. But you know what? This is the first time that I've looked at a terraforming that I've done and actually thought, yeah, that looks really cool. I am chuffed with this. I'm so chuffed with this. For me personally, my old technique for bone mealing areas was literally just to spam the bone meal everywhere. But I have been informed that that isn't particularly brilliant. I should A, clear out all of the flowers, because this guy's got a point, you know. When you look at this area over here, it looks like something out of The Hobbit, and that's what I'm going for. Like, look at this thing, and it's because it doesn't have the flowers, and because we've got some long grass as well, and the bone meal, it's not too dense. Like, we don't have too much grass going on. So I believe him. I totally believe him, and I'm going to completely follow everything that he says. I'm trying my best to do some bone mealing here, and then I'm bone mealing, clearing out some of the grass, growing up some of the long grass, and in theory, we should end up with something that actually looks really, really cool. So here comes the moment of truth. I've been working on this thing for quite some time, and I've been like really picky about everything. Every block that I place, I think about it. I try and work out if it looks good or not, and then I sort of deliberate and occasionally remove it. And the bone mealing as well, all of the leaf placing, all of the cobblestone placing, I've been trying my best to just be really, really perfectionisty on this thing, and hopefully it's paid off. Yes, I like this a lot. Now, I know it's not perfect, okay? It's not 100% perfect. This is definitely a work in progress. But that looks good to me. Now, I have sort of missed a line here. I definitely feel like we need some more bone meal in that section, maybe on top of that hill. But you know what? This is the first time that I've looked at a terraforming that I've done and actually thought, yeah, that looks really cool. I am chuffed with this. I'm so chuffed with this. With the success of the front side and the fact that I'm absolutely loving doing this, I thought it would be good to do the back side of the hill as well, because of course, this was a pretty rough terraforming job back here. So we've got plenty of clearing out to do. We've got a lot of blocks to knock back, and hopefully we can create something that looks cool as well. So once again, I've put a bunch of time into this hill, and just want to mention I'm absolutely loving this, by the way. But this is where Iskal stopped terraforming, I believe, and I have done all of this area going right the way round to around about here, I would say. I think this is where I stopped. So let's just pop off to the edge and see what it looks like. I've done all of the bone mealing. I've done everything. That looks good. Yeah, that looks good. I'm so happy that this is coming together nicely. I'm sure that some of you are disagreeing with me down in the comment section. You're probably just writing your comments right now saying, Mumbo, what are you talking about? It looks disgusting. But I personally think this is going fantastically. And another thing that I just quickly want to mention is that I'm starting work on this hill right here and also this hill over here as well. So this spot is all getting fixed up because right now it's looking a tiny bit on the messy side.
I was just at the elytra launcher, gonna fly out.
Oh, watch out for the creeper! You're about to do some express terraforming.
Crazy!
I don't even have a bow, so I can't even sort it out.
Some explosive. Man, these creepers go so well with the grass color here, don't they?
Yeah, I know, they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I class them as a feature, actually. They're like a moving feature of my terraforming.
Dude, this is gorgeous. Wow.
Would you say I'm doing a good job?
You're doing a great job.
Seriously?
Woo! Yeah, man.
So it's actually going well.
It's going great. Look at you. I'm proud.
Wow, I'm so chuffed. As I say, you know, I thought I'd call up the god of terraforming himself, which of course is Scar, but he was busy, so I had to call you. So
yeah, second best.
I'm joking, of course. No, I'm really
Scar
chuffed. I'm actually really chuffed with how it's coming together.
It's so beautiful. I add some coarse dirt down there, though. I'd say.
Yeah, see,
so
that's the one thing. I don't really know how to like chuck that around. I've been sort of like experimenting with it, and whenever I place it down, it just looks like dirt.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to go about doing it. So what I'll do is I'll throw you my coarse dirt, and you can suggest places to put it.
Yeah.
Would that be a good idea?
That is a good idea.
All right. Okay. So there's my 38 coarse dirt. I actually had to look up how to craft it. I didn't realize you could craft it.
I'd say next to like stone, it makes sense. I'm seeing it as like the grass has been corroded from the rocks. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah. I get you.
Something like that, maybe. Also, it goes very well on the stones themselves.
Right.
And like on the side, wherever you have sides of dirt where the grass is not growing downward. Well, I don't know if you played with fancy grass, but
no.
Whenever you have two tall things like this, you can just mix the texture up a little bit by doing that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Gives a little depth. But yeah, it goes extremely well with stone, I think.
Yeah, no, I can definitely tell. Like, it's just a slightly rougher texture. It looks really, really cool.
It's one of my favorite blocks in Minecraft, man. It's
really.
Yeah.
It looks especially cool in my texture pack as well. It looks really nice.
Oh yeah, you have a stupid texture pack, man.
Yeah, it's basically because I'm not very good at building things. I have to enhance it ever so slightly.
Well, don't beat yourself up. You have. I think your base looks cool, man. It's very industrial.
Well, it's one of those things. It's got its own special style. Like I wouldn't describe it as beautiful at all, but I'd describe it as just functional with a slightly cool look.
But yeah, I mean, you have you got a uniform going on, which makes it pretty.
Yeah, but anyway, aside from this, I've also done like a little bit of the other backside. Now this one was like a little bit more rough around the edges, and I only just recently did it. So you might want to take a look at that and see what you think. It's just next to your terraforming as well, which is extra frustrating because of course it just makes mine look bad.
Oh, shut up, you! So harsh on yourself.
But this is the backside. This is the area that I've literally just done.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Does it look cool?
What did we say about the flowers?
Oh, sorry, no, they were already there. They're one of those things that I forgot to punch them out.
Okay, you're forgiven. I thought for a second that you'd be a girl there.
But no, it looks. Yeah, as I say, I've been talking in the episode about how chuffed I am with it and how much it's so much fun knowing what I'm doing now. As in, I always used to find terraforming like really painful almost because I'd do it. I'd spend ages doing it, and then it would end up looking rubbish. Like, can you see that area over there, just by the flower farm, where it just doesn't look natural? Like that took me ages to do that, and it still looks rubbish. So
that straight line there. Yeah. No, I'm happy. I mean, a final tip for you is like remember the difference between terraforming and redstone is that there's no logic and no reasons.
No, exactly. That's the thing. I'm trying to look for like patterns, and I'm trying to get like a logical system for it, and it just doesn't work at all.
Doesn't exist.
So I'm being like really nitpicky with the blocks that I'm placing, which means it's taking me quite a long time, but I'm just sort of placing it and then taking a step back and being like, does it look good? Does it not? And then doing it. But I'm sure it will come with time. I'm assuming. I hope.
I mean, you've done good. I'm very proud of you. You've done good. I'd say that the coarse dirt you can spruce in. That's just to when you look from it from a distance, you want to have like a blended color on the ground, because the side of a grass color is always brown.
Yeah, yeah.
And your eyes goes like, okay, so I know that's a side. But if you tell your eyes that it's not a side by doing this, boop boop.
Oh, yeah, that looks so much... That straight away, the stuff like that looks really cool. And I remember actually you said, as well, the coarse dirt behind the long grass. That is a good
Beautiful.
look.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Close your eyes. You want to see a next level thing, though?
Yeah,
I'm going to just
would.
blow your mind, and then I'll leave you to it. You ready?
I can't wait. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. The paths.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
little bit of that in there next to the water.
A bit of path action around the water, I see.
It's like a muddy sand, right?
Yeah, totally. Oh, now that... You know what? For some reason, okay, and this is gonna sound strange, but my heart just fluttered then. I don't know what that was. Clearly, Exuma felt it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You just like was sent telepathically to him.
But no, this looks awesome. I'm so chuffed that you came along and gave me all these tips, and the tip to jump in the fences as well, because that saved me a bunch of time.
Oh yeah, you used that out. I'm glad you liked it, man.
And cheers for coming by and telling me that my work was good. I'll pay you the diamonds after this.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we go, guys. Iskal has confirmed that my terraforming is at least half decent, and I'm very happy with it. I think it's going really well. And I can't wait to do more terraforming in the future. Seriously, this is like my new favourite thing. I'm absolutely loving doing it. And I'll probably do a little bit in the next coming few episodes. We'll basically just dot around and do a little bit here and there. We won't dedicate full episodes to it. It will just be one of those things that we drop in and do occasionally. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mambo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.